Hey everyone, it's Girl with a Tail here. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm doing something a bit different. I'm doing 30 signs that you might be psychic or intuitive instead of doing a tarot reading. I hope you enjoy this video. Please subscribe, it really helps me out. And it's free. Please give the video a like, and I would love it for you guys to comment how much of the 30 signs you got. If you want to share other signs that you know of, or if you want to share your own experiences with psychic or intuitive abilities or the paranormal or anything like that, you can do so in the comments. I love to hear from you guys. So let's start. I just wanted to say that some of these signs might be commonly known and some might not be. I based some of them on my own childhood examples and my own experiences to help me come up with the signs. Some of these are things that, well, practically all are things that I experienced myself growing up, and things that I know other psychics have experienced. So let's start with number one, which is, it's not in any particular order, okay? But I'm just calling it number one, right? So number one is you have really vivid dreams that sometimes show you information of the past, present, or future that you couldn't possibly have known on your own. And you may even astral project yourself. You might be able to astral travel in your dreams, and that's where you leave your body behind and you float about in a different astral plane. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Insidious, but in that movie, the little boy is able to astral project, but I believe they call the astral plane a special name in that movie. I think they call it like the void or something. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. When I was a child, I used to naturally just have these dreams where I would float up out of my body and like fly about the house, and if I looked back at my body, I would go rushing back into it and I would wake up with a start. I didn't even know what I was doing then. Sometimes it was scary, sometimes it was joyful, it all depended. One thing I want to say is that when you're at a higher vibration, meaning you're in a good mood, to simplify it, you're more likely to have a good experience if you try to astral project. Whereas if you are at a lower vibration, it could be more dangerous to astral project because you might be more likely to encounter lower vibrational beings or entities that mean you harm, okay? So I'm gonna just write that a shorthand version of number one. We're gonna call number one vivid dreams, and I'm just gonna put slash astral because we don't have much space, right? But you guys know what I mean, right? Just so you can remember. So number two is you may get extremely powerful negative or positive vibes about people, places, or things without explanation, and sometimes these vibes are later proven to be true. So for example, you might feel like dread when you think about going to a particular event, and then you avoid going and you found out that something bad happened, so you ended up avoiding something bad. Or you may have a really positive emotion the minute you meet someone and that person ends up being an extremely important person in your life, things like that. One example I can give is when I was a little girl, we went abroad, and we were supposed to take a train ride, and I just really didn't want to go for some reason, so I didn't behave as I should have, and I took a really long time getting ready, and it ended up with us reaching too late for that particular train, and that train ended up running off the tracks. Thankfully, not only were we not on it, but the people that were on it, there weren't any deaths, but there were a lot of injured people. So just because I had that weird feeling and I didn't want to board the train, I now as an adult trust my feelings of dread or of good vibes now, more than ever. So I'm just gonna write positive / negative vibes. Sorry about my handwriting. If you're struggling with my handwriting, sorry about that. So number 3 is you have a fear of mirrors. So some believe that mirrors are portals to like another world or consciousness or plane. Some people who are psychic even keep their mirrors covered because they're so disturbed by them. And they may even see like flashes of movement in the mirror that doesn't correspond with the room itself. It's something that's a bit frightening to think about, but this is one of the signs that you might be psychic or intuitive. I'm going to write fear of mirrors here. So I remember when I was small, I had this, I thought I was having a nightmare, but I wasn't entirely sure because I dreamt that I woke up, and then when I looked at the mirror, there was someone like on the other side of it, and they were knocking on the glass, and I was really terrified. After that, I started having dreams about that same particular person that I saw, and I had to work really hard to stop having those dreams. And that kind of brings us to number 4, which is when you were a child, you had one or several imaginary friends. Now you might be wondering, how does that story relate to that? And I would say it relates because the particular person that I saw knocking on the mirror glass, like they kept recurring in dreams and in like flashes of movement out of the corner of my eye, and they were only associated with the house that I was growing up in at that time, but I wouldn't really call them an imaginary friend. So not all quote-unquote imaginary friends are friendly, but children who have imaginary friends could be picking up on beings that other people can't. Also, sometimes there are cases of children who they would describe their imaginary friend and it would fit the exact description of someone that once lived in that same house. So I'm gonna write number 4 as childhood imaginary friends. I should have probably said at the beginning that, if you are like triggered or upset by these kinds of topics, this might not be the video for you, because this can be kind of a scary topic, right, for some people. I'm gonna put a warning in the title. So number 5 is you are drawn to crystals and easily moved by their vibrations when you're holding them. So you might feel, for example, loved or loving when you're holding rose quartz, because rose quartz is supposed to evoke unconditional love. I don't have a rose quartz here. but I have a rose quartz, but I don't have it in front of me. I have my favorite crystal here. This is red goldstone. It's supposed to be for protection, and I also wear it on my wrist. I feel so much better when I have it on. If you've never like experienced working with crystals before or wearing them, I do encourage you to maybe get something with crystals, like a little bracelet or piece of jewelry, or just the actual crystal itself. I have another one here. This is rainbow aura quartz. Yeah, I think you can also order them online, because now is not a time where many people can go out. I'm just gonna put number 5 as attracted to crystals, right? So number 6, you have a natural fear of the dark since childhood, and you even dreaded nighttime as a child. You may still have to sleep with a nightlight even as an adult, or you may have slept with a nightlight as a child because of the fear of the dark. You often feel especially afraid between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m., which some people refer to as the witching hour, when entities are most likely to disturb people. You may also be awakened at a specific time every night and feel as though you're not alone. So with this one, the witching hour is not a literal hour. To my understanding, it's between midnight to 3 a.m. And it's associated with like the paranormal. This is similar to number 3, which is fear of mirrors, because it's one of those fears that come out of you being more susceptible to picking up on like the presence of like an entity or something. So I'm gonna write number 6 as fear of the dark. Number 7, feeling as though you're being watched, or as though you are not alone. This usually, similar to number 6, this feeling usually intensifies at night, or when you're in a place where there's supposedly a lot of paranormal activity, like a cemetery, an old house, an abandoned hospital, asylum, prison, something where a lot of negative energy is existing, right? So I'm gonna put that as feeling as though you're being watched. So that's number 7. Ooh, one sec. Yeah, if it sounds like I'm reading, it's because I am reading. I have my notes here with me. Okay, so I fixed my notes. Okay, so number 8 is you are either drawn to or repelled by antiques. This is similar to number 2 with the positive and negative vibes. So you have an intense reaction to antiques, either instantly loving or hating the specific antique. You may also feel emotions or experience memories that do not seem to be yours when holding an antique. And by antiques here, I just mean any object with a history to it, usually quite an old object. So I'm gonna write number 8 as attracted to or repelled by antiques. So that's number 8. Now we're going on to number 9. honestly, I've always loved antiques. Sometimes they make me a little disturbed, but I like them more than I dislike them. I even have an antique mirror, even though I'm afraid of mirrors sometimes. So let's go on to number 9, which is you are an empath or a highly sensitive person. I won't go into too much detail. You can look up signs of being an empath or signs of being a highly sensitive person. Empaths just feel things really deeply when it comes to other people. They tend to be really compassionate, and highly sensitive people respond to stimuli more intensely. So one unfortunate thing about this, even though being an empath is like a wonderful thing, is that empaths tend to attract narcissists or people with a lot of narcissistic traits. So be careful and don't let someone like that use you. So I'm gonna put that as empath slash HSP, highly sensitive person. They're not the same thing, but they go together sometimes, so I'm putting them together. Now we're going to number 10. You love animals and you show them great compassion, as we all should, and animals are also drawn to you. So when you were a child, you might have taken detours on the way home and stumbled upon a stray cat or a dog and befriended it. You might have even adopted strays. You might have helped birds with broken wings, keeping them in like little shoe boxes or cages until the wings heal, and then you set them free. I think we all know like a little child like that that's really compassionate with animals. You might even show respect for really small creatures like mice, grasshoppers, butterflies, moths. The thing about animals is that they have the ability, it's believed that they have the ability to sense entities, spiritual entities. And for this reason, the Egyptians even worshipped cats and thought that they were the guardians of the underworld. So you may also have like a special connection with cats, but animals in general. So I'm gonna put number 10 as animal lover. I hope you can see that. So we're on to the third. So number 11 is you are introverted and need time to recover energetically after socializing. So because you're able to pick up on people's energies, you might not be able to socialize for a long period of time because of what is happening to you on a spiritual level, and you might feel drained after socializing in a way that doesn't make sense compared to the activity you did. For example, you did something very not strenuous, but you feel completely fatigued after all that social activity. So I'm just gonna put that as introverted, number 11. Right? Now, you can be extroverted and still be psychic, but in my experience, it's just more common among introverted people or people who make their own energy and need to recharge it, for want of a better expression, right? So number 12 is you are drawn to the paranormal and the strange, whether that means horror movies, scary stories, or unsolved mysteries. Basically, the unknown fascinates you. That's pretty self-explanatory. If you have a gift, you tend to be drawn to things that surround your gift. So I'm gonna put number 12 as paranormal interest. Now, number 13. So number 13 is you are extremely drawn to a particular era or culture other than your own for inexplicable reasons. For example, you might be obsessed with ancient Egypt or the Italian Renaissance. You might even dream or feel that you lived through that era. I used to have this recurring dream about feudal Japan, where I was living there, and that's completely not where I'm from. And it would be the same dream over and over and over. And it was so vivid and real. And in the dream, I had all these memories about who I was back then and what my life was like. And it seemed in the dream as if I had an entirely different personality, looked entirely different. And I don't know where this dream came from. It would just recur all the time. So, you might have dreams like that as well, which kind of goes with number 1. But I'm going to put 13 as interest in past times, or I'm going to put it as interest in past eras. My pen's giving up on me. But I really wanted to use this nice silver pen for you guys on black paper. Spooky eras, like time periods, okay? So number 14 is you cannot handle watching the news despite being able to watch like murder mysteries and other disturbing true stories. And that's because you can't emotionally deal with current negative events, because you feel totally overwhelmed by all the negative energy. It's easier for you to hear something negative that happened many years ago, possibly because the energy has faded or calmed a bit, but you really struggle with like current events that are disastrous or really negative. So I'm gonna put that as avoidance of the news. I don't know how else to put that. That's kind of a weird one, but that also goes along with being an empath or highly sensitive person. So number 15, we're halfway now. You love plants and nature. You may even talk to your plants, believing that this will help them grow. You also respect your plants a lot. I remember that my grandmother used to actually ask permission of the plant before picking a flower or a piece of the plant to like grow another plant. Of course, maybe you can't actually get a verbal response from the plant, but that was her way of like respecting it by actually asking out loud. So I'm gonna put 15 as plant lover. So number 16, the 16th sign that you might be psychic or intuitive. You love the moon and feel differently about different lunar phases. For example, you like to know when all the full moons and new moons are. You might even try to manifest using the moons. Like the new moon is like a clean slate because there's actually no moon visible in the sky. It's there, but you can't see it. And the full moon would be like when you're at your most powerful, if that makes sense. I'm gonna put that as moon lover. I should have put it as lunar lover. That would have been cooler. Number 17, your taste in music, films, and fashion may differ vastly from what's mainstream, especially if, like in number 13, with the interest in the past eras, you're drawn to a particular era. For example, all the music and fashion and whatever you like might be 60s or 70s or literally so far in the past, like Victorian or something, you might have an interest in like period pieces, and you can't really explain where it comes from. You just really enjoy that. You just have a really unique style. You just have a unique taste in music, a unique taste in films. You don't like automatically like what everybody else likes. But that doesn't mean that, in South Park with like the non-conformists, that doesn't mean you can't like what everybody else likes too and still be psychic. You can like whatever you want, but if you have a lot of strange tastes, that might be a sign. I want to put that as not mainstream in tastes, or should I put it as in interests? I'll put it as in interests. That one's a little hard to summarize. Number 18 is you actually tried to suppress some of your abilities as a child because it made you strange in the eyes of others or even frightened you. This is especially true for me with the astral projection. Like, I really did not want to have those dreams. They were so disturbing to me that I actually like would like I saw this person who helped me to not have those dreams, like to not astral travel, to just kind of sleep with, you know, like a dreamless kind of peaceful sleep. Like, that was always my goal at bedtime, because I didn't really see it as a good thing back then. So if you're actually trying to suppress your abilities, that's actually a sign that you are really intuitive. I'm gonna put that as suppression, and then I'm gonna put intentionally. No, it should be intentional, but whatever. So intentional suppression of your abilities. So number 19 is you have some negative feelings or anxiety concerning your birthday. This could be due to your deep intuition, which knows that people are more likely to die on their birthdays and are otherwise more likely to have strange experiences on their birthdays, especially milestone birthdays. So I'm going to put that as, I know that's a really weird one, but I'm going to put that as birthday blues. Okay, that's one of the really not known ones. And I'm sure some of these can probably be disputed, but this is from my perspective. So number 20 is you are nervous around static, whether it is static on the television or radio. You feel a sense of fear. You're probably sensing that this is an optimal time for an entity to communicate through the static. And this is similar to the fear of mirrors and the fear of the dark. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie White Noise. I believe it is, with the static. I'm gonna put this as fear of static. Ooh, we're 2/3 way there. So let's go to 21. Number 21 I have as you have problems sleeping and may even be an insomniac. As stated earlier, the nighttime is prime time for entities to be about, especially between midnight and 3 a.m. You might be so intuitive or so psychic that these beings completely disturb, disrupt, or prevent your sleep, or intuitive thoughts disrupt, or prevent your sleep, and you're like totally unable to sleep at those particular times. Or you may just be a light sleeper, or just like struggle with your sleep hygiene, sleep patterns in general, because you're kind of like keeping the technology around to make you feel less afraid. That's number 21. I hope I explained that okay. I'm gonna put it as insomnia or difficulty sleeping. You don't actually have to have full-blown insomnia. Number 22 is you're creative. Whether it's music, art, or creative writing, you need a creative outlet to channel some of your energy, or you may start to feel really, really down. So number 22, I'm just gonna put as creative. Also, because you create your own energy anyway, like you need to channel it. Number 23 is kind of a weird one, but it's you take really long showers or baths or crave going to a body of water like the sea or a river or a lake. Being around water refreshes or cleanses you, not only physically but energetically or spiritually as well. So I'm gonna put that as water affinity. I don't know how else to say it. Like, next, similar to number 23, number 24 is you love candles or fireplaces. You enjoy looking at open flames. Of course, please be safe, but the connection you feel to the element of fire is similar to the ones described earlier regarding water and like earth, nature, animals, the moon, etc. It's all powerful energy, and you as a psychic or intuitive person naturally respect and admire such things. I don't want to put that one as pyromaniac because that's actually a serious kind of thing and not really what I'm describing here, because you have more of like a respect for it and you don't misuse the fire. So I'm gonna put it as love of candles, fireplaces. Number 25 is you are interested in all things astrology, or interested in horoscopes, which is astrology, or even astronomy, which is more technical. You may also be interested in space, right? Because astronomy, is the movement of the planets and stars and celestial bodies in general. Whereas astrology tries to use pieces of astronomy and combine them with like the zodiac signs to see how those things will affect us. But having an interest in this will come naturally to you because you can use knowledge of those things to combine with your intuitive or psychic abilities to possibly make more accurate predictions. That was a mouthful, sorry guys. I'm just gonna put that as astrology / horoscopes. So number 26 is you are drawn to the tarot. You have always wanted to read tarot cards, or you have always wanted to have your cards read, despite who might scoff at you or think that it's silly or whatever. That one's self-explanatory, so I'm just gonna put that as tarot lover. Maybe that should have been my username, tarot lover. Okay, so number 27 is you know who is calling you or coming to see you before they call or arrive. This one is also self-explanatory. Like, you may be thinking of a person and then you get a phone call from them, or you may be thinking about a person and then they show up. You just like have a sense of who it's gonna be. How do I say that? I guess those are like small premonitions, or like knowing who is calling. Not sure. I wasn't sure how to put that in a smaller way, guys. Okay, so number 28 is you sense when your loved one is emotionally or physically hurt, almost as if they are calling to you. You might also sometimes hear someone call your name, and you would go to their room and they'll say that they didn't actually call you, but they thought of you and they wanted to talk to you anyway. So for example, sometimes like I'll think I hear somebody call me into the next room, and so I go, and my friend or whoever is there, and even though they didn't actually call for me, they were just thinking of me and were about to call for me, you know. That's similar to the one from 27. Yeah, so you might hear people calling your name, like you might hear when they need you, kind of thing. And you might also be able to sense when they're hurt, because I think I kind of repeated myself there just now, but just to clarify, number 28 is sensing when a loved one is emotionally or physically hurt, as if they're calling to you, right? I'm gonna put that as sensing danger, and especially regarding loved ones. Okay, so number 29 is likewise, other people sense your needs at times without you stating them. So for example, you might be hungry and someone comes at that exact moment to offer you food, or someone might answer your unasked questions at the right moment. Like people sense your needs and fulfill them without you having to say anything, as if they can like pick up on like you sending them a thought or something. I'm gonna put that as others sense your needs. And last but not least, 30 is you are affected by the weather emotionally. You may have a love for thunder and lightning and stormy or rainy weather rather than fearing it, and you may find it exhilarating. That also has to do with like the energy surrounding those things. I'm gonna put that as, I'm just gonna put that as weather. So you can go through these and tell me which ones you have. Thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate it. Please consider subscribing and let me know if you want more videos like this. Also, please let me know if you want like a story time based on like some weird experiences that I had growing up. Some of them are kind of scary. So, well, actually, most of them are kind of scary. So, I don't know if you guys would want that or not. But let me know, because I personally wouldn't mind doing a story time. And you also feel free to let me know what tarot pick a card readings you guys are interested in. You can put that all in the comments. Stay safe, and I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.